Well, Wesley Wyatt, what's up, brother?
Oh man, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I told our guest today that offline, and he said, "Boy, he goes, the world would be awesome if that was the case. And man, if we could double him, it'd be triple better."
It'd be triple better. Maybe even quadruple. I mean, what comes after that? I don't know.
I don't know. I heard somebody say something about a million Brazilians once, and somebody said, "Man, that's the biggest number I've ever heard."
I think that's a
So
big number.
I think it'd be a Brazilian.
That's a lot. Speaking of the guy we're going to have on, this guy right here. I mean, does it get any better now?
It really doesn't. I got to tell you, we were talking offline about all the different people that we're able to, engage with, whether it be Les Brown or which we haven't had on the show yet, which that'd be a great guest, but the great Ben Gay and, just some of the people that we're lucky enough to know and engage with through this show. And man, I got to tell you, Randy, sometimes I got to pinch myself.
And you're right. I thought about that just this morning, and then we'll get on to something much more interesting like Rex. But I thought about that this morning as I was going through LinkedIn and Facebook, taking a few minutes and checking out what everybody's doing and liking and sharing and commenting, people. And the amount of people, high quality people that we've got to know. And I'm sitting there going, wow, it's just amazing that, like I remember I did a comment about Dave Sanderson speaking at the American Red Cross this morning. And the fact that guys like Rex is coming on in a minute, and Dave Sanderson and Ben Gay, just to name three, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but to refer to them as they got a great choice for a speaker, whatever I said, my friend, and we know we mean that, right? I mean, that's pretty huge, and Rex has become a great friend of ours since we've been doing this thing, and we're just blessed, man. So
yeah, I saw Steve Leslie commented on it.
Yes.
Commented on. I mean, we're beyond lucky and blessed to have these incredible people in our lives. And like you said, instead of you and I waxing nostalgic about how awesome everybody is, why don't we just bring them on?
We should, because the really important thing here is we always joke about the green room, because we think about in Hollywood and that there's the green room where everybody waits with their grapes and their glass of wine before they go on Johnny Carson or whatever. And Rex actually has been in green rooms, true green rooms, because he is, amongst many other things, a Hollywood actor. So we better not keep him waiting in our cheap green room, which is actually probably not even green. So we should probably just quit chatting and get him on. What do you think?
How about this? Lights, camera, action.
Yeah, I'm going to do that snap though. Rex, what's up, my man?
Wow. I got to tell you, I am humbled and honored and privileged to be here with you and with Wes. I've just up-leveled my own, the people I hang out with by hanging out with you again. I mean, it's fantastic.
Well, then that means you must, as Garth Brooks says, have friends in low places, brother. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many friends in low places I do have. Absolutely. I count myself as one of them.
Yeah, well, hey, we've all got those. So, but welcome back and thank you for coming back. I know with your massively busy schedule, it's just great that you're willing and ready to jump on. And I was just so blessed when I asked, and I know you said anytime, and when I said hey, and you said yes. I mean, thank you, appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate being here too. So, thank you and Wes.
You got it. Look at that. That book's up there already, and I got mine right in my hand because I was looking at it again because it has a spot on my Hall of Fame little desk behind me here that I got lots and lots and lots of books that end up in drawers just because I don't have room for them all. But you're one that is always on top, and even if my wife comes in and kind of cleans up the room a little bit and neatens my office up, and that ends up getting put in the drawer, it goes back out again. Right. So right there with our mutual friend, Ben Gay III and Oak and a few others. So that we talked about earlier. So, but anyway, so welcome. And before we get into some other things, because you got so much going on, and even before we talk about your book, we kind of touched on it a minute ago with the little green room joke, but who in the world is Rex Sikes?
I have no idea.
Well, I didn't either, but I was hoping you did, so I'm in trouble.
No, I first and foremost, I'm a father. I mean, I've got two incredible children, and that a transfer in my entire life was having kids. and they're adults now, but I'm still just as delighted to have adult children as I was to have little children. I've got two amazing, beautiful girl dogs who I would call muses, my spirit guides. I mean, I just feel like a totally, blessed person. My goal in life is as a child, I think I've already probably told you before, was to be a mystic and an actor, and I do both of those. At 3 years old, my mom and dad put me in acting, or no, they first put me in dancing lessons, and which was a ballet and tap and acrobatic lessons. And then at 4, they put me in acting class, not hoping that I would ever decide to be an actor, but that they were rounding me out in the arts, that this would benefit me somehow. And when I was about 6, I had been raised Catholic, and I just looked at the mass was in Latin then, so I didn't understand a word of it. And, but this guy stood up in the front, and he was in all these robes. They were doing the incense thing, and it was all about God. And I was like, there must be some connection going on. I want to do what he does. I want to be him. So I asked my mom if we had any sacred texts or books around the house that she would read. We did. We had, Napoleon Hill. We had the Bhagavad Gita. We had The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. We had Khalil Gibran. We had a whole bunch of them. So at 6 years old, she started reading me these books. Saturdays, I would sit on her lap and we watch old movies like the Marx Brothers or Jimmy Stewart or whatever, so I could get my acting fix. And nightly before I'd go to bed, she'd read me from these books. So I've been reading Napoleon Hill since I was 6 years old. I started, obviously around 10 or 11 reading on my own. I've been infused with this sacred information and entrusted with this sacred information, I guess you'd say, for most of my life. And so I share it. I talk a little bit about my journey in a brief chapter in the book and how tragedy led me to make some discoveries that I then decided, okay, I need to get this out and to help people. One thing I will say, it's truly important. Attitude is everything. It's the number one predictor for success in all areas of your life. The thing about the placebo effect and everything is how I really started my work as an adult, really a late teenager. But it was exploring what the mind could do. I'd gotten involved with hypnosis by the time I was 11. I was teaching it as a teenager, and and into my 20s. But as I write about in Life on Your Terms, I had an incident, a tragedy, one of many in my life, but that led me to lock myself in my apartment and then discovered a method for more easily transforming and making changes, because I had struggled with it. Even though I'd read Napoleon Hill for many years, I didn't necessarily apply it, which is what most people do. They read a book to finish it. And many people don't even finish books. They read a chapter or two and they put it down. It ends up in a drawer. I do it too, But I mean, they don't finish it. And part of the reason for that is we're creatures of habit. We're creatures of routine. And our brain really is designed to fulfill these habits. What it's learned, whether it's good or bad, whether you learn to smoke or overeat or be worried or scared or shy or whatever it is, your brain thinks that's what you want because that's what it learned. And so it wants to keep you consistent doing that. Then you decide, I'm tired of being shy. I don't want to be fat, or I don't want to be thin. I want to be more positive, or I want to do these things. And it seems like the struggle to be able to make these changes. And so that people come up with these silly notions like self-sabotage and all this stuff. The brain doesn't sabotage you. It's just fulfilling its purpose. Keep you alive and to help you to thrive by keeping you consistent and using the least amount of energy ever to do it. It's the law of conservation, the law of least effort is how the brain works. That's why once you learn how to open a door or use a fork, you don't have to learn it every time you do it. It brings a massive amount of energy if every time you had to relearn to do something. So we're habits. We have routines. We're set in our ways. Well, what I discovered, and I created a program for that called the Attitude Activator, because so many people don't want to change and they don't know how to change and they think it's hard. And if you think it's hard, it's going to be a lot harder than if you think it's easy. If it's easy, you might discover that it's not as easy as you think it might be, but it's going to be easier than if you think it's hard. It's the same thing as if you think it's impossible, you're not likely to do it. If you think, well, it might be possible and other people could do it, so perhaps I could do it, you know what, I will do it. And when you will do it, then you get to the point where hopefully you have done it. So there's a process. But people today, because of exposure on TV and the media and everything, want a magic wand, they want a magic pill, they want a magic bullet, they want something, they want a hack, they want it fast, they want it microwave. And that's just not how it works. So I created this program, the Attitude Activator, which is an audio program that you listen to. People listen to it for years as a way of learning a process while you're relaxing that helps you develop the attitude you need to succeed. And it's designed to do away with itself. So you don't have to rely on an audio program forever. But you know what? People have had this program for many, many years, and they keep listening to it anyway because they enjoy it. So it's the Attitude Activator. It's at rexsikes.com. But the reason I tell you that is because what I discovered was change should be fun. It should be delightful. It should be easier than most people make it. If you wanted to learn to juggle and you hated juggling, you're probably never going to do it.
Right.
If you really wanted to learn to juggle and you love juggling, it's going to get easier as you go along. As long as you stick with it, you'll get better at it. The better you get, you'll enjoy it more. And that kind of feeds itself. So you get better, you get easier, you get better, it gets easier, it gets easier, you get better. And that's why how I want to help people, because there's a lot of garbage out there in the self-help community about how tough it is and what you need and how you can't and it's just very confusing for most people. So I just wanted to simplify everything. So that's who I am in a more than a nutshell, I guess.
Well, and you know, as I was listening to you, Rex, and of course we talked before, both on the phone, chatting, and on the program before. And a question that popped in my head as you was talking about just now is so many people. Let me back up. It's easy, or for some reason, for most people to say I can't do, or it can't work for me. I can never do that. As opposed to, it's probably, as you just kind of alluded to, I feel it's just as easy to do the things you need to do to be successful. But why are we conditioned, or a lot of people are conditioned, to always go the I can't instead of why can't I?
Well, I honestly believe that this happened some time ago. I mean, I think it's happened throughout all of recorded history, if not before that. But especially when we moved from an agrarian age to an industrial age, where people left the farm and their own farms or community farms and went into the cities to work in factories. There was a huge push to get people to be worker bees and to be satisfied being worker bees and not want to go anywhere else, because your loyalty had to be to the company, you know, that you worked for. And they had horrible wages and horrible hours, and children were abused and the whole thing. And so there was this conditioning process that went on. Then Freud's nephew took Freud's principles and said, look, I can get people to buy anything using these principles. I can get them to do anything. He's the guy responsible for getting women to smoke by making it appealing and getting it in, in the movies and things like that. We went from being a need-based society. If you were an agrarian, if you were a farmer, for example, you only needed one tractor, and if it broke down, you got another one. But as a want-based society, it was like, well, I got to have 2 tractors, or so-and-so over there's got 4 tractors. I need 6. This whole thing started, but it was designed to keep us in our place. So we have smelly pits, and we have bad teeth, and we got flaky hair, and all this kind of stuff, so that we would buy products. And so the same thing, if you can't do it, you're never going to amount to anything. You don't buck the status quo. I mean, there's all these messages kind of to stay in your place, kind of what the velvet rope is all about,
Mm-hmm.
You just move like cattle to whatever, And so we have a lot of those messages. Plus, when we were in school, we got more things wrong all the time. We weren't praised. Hey, you got 2 out of 100 right. You're right on track. This is cool. Now get 3, maybe get 4, but 2 is fabulous. We get, oh, you only got 2. You don't know anything. You're failing. You're flunking. You're stupid. So most people learned to not try. They learned not to persist. They learned not to commit. They learned to doubt themselves, be fearful of things, and want change, but never ever know how to change. So, and wishing and wanting is not going to get you to change.
Right.
What wishing and wanting will get you to do is to wish more and want more. If you notice the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and you're like, all you're noticing is the lack of being where you want to be. In Napoleon Hill said it, Buddha said it, every thought leader from the dawn of human, Jesus said it, from the dawn of humankind has said, kind of like, ask, believing you shall receive, and you shall receive. Hill said, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. So it's how you use your mind, how you develop your attitude, that gets people to move ahead. And most people aren't trained in it. We're not brought up in it. We're not trained in it. Nobody's taught it. And so that's why I write the book. I have the Attitude Activator in my programs, doing stuff for 50 years, as are some other people. And I don't want to talk forever, but I want to say this. A lot of people have it wrong. And they're the people out there, there's shiny objects. They got the suits, they got the cars, they got the boats, they got the planes. They're doing the seminars all the time. They're on TV, they're running commercials, this, that, and the other. And they tell you, if you want what I have, then you have to work really, really, really hard. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with hard work, but you have to work really, really, really hard. You have to risk. You have to do long hours. You have to sacrifice. It's a struggle. You have to crush your competition and watch out so you don't get stabbed in the back and blah, 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 blah. In order for you to have what I have, you have to do all these things so that you can be somebody who's happy or be someone who's important or be successful. And it is the exact opposite way as it works. And as long as there are thought presenters out there telling you that, we will always be stuck. Because you have to be it in order to do it, in order to have it. So if you feel happy, or you feel successful, or you feel wealthy and abundant, or you feel secure and confident, from that, you will do the right actions and take the right actions and speak the right words in order to create the kind of results that you need to create to have the things that you want to have. So instead of wanting the boat, change yourself to be the kind of person for whom boats come to.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, so, and that's what keeps people missing, because they want that and their attention is there and your energy goes and your power goes where your attention goes. And so what most people are like is they're standing on the dock with one foot and the boat with the other foot, and they never get going anywhere. And if you really want to get somewhere, you got to get into the boat, head to the destination, and remember this. You may never make it to your destination, so the only thing you have is a journey to your destination, so enjoy the journey along the way. And if you do make it to your destination, consider yourself blessed, because then you've enjoyed it all along the way, and you get the payoff that you were hoping for.
Exactly. And that journey is so important, so important. So, so Life on Your Term, an incredible book. I guess it's already up there, but I have it, so I'm going to hold it. I've read it fully once and skimmed it 2 or 3 times. I'll sometimes grab a chapter, and I don't know what you recommend, but I read the whole book, and then I go back and find chapters that just intrigue me at the moment in the evening, and I flip through and go, you know what, I'm going to read that chapter again. And what I really love about this book, and let's talk about it a few minutes before we spend the last little half of the show talking about what you got coming up, which is a lot, is you wrote this book exactly for the person you just talked about. It's an easy to follow, easy to get out of your own way, understand that if I do the things that you talk about in the book in a very easy to read way, you get done reading this book, and I don't think I'm any different than anybody else. I'm always I'm a pretty positive, me too, can do, will do type person. I always have seen, for some reason, something I want, and it's always, what do I need to do it? Because I'm going to do it. Not, well, I probably can't do that, or I'll never be able to do that. Why? I don't know. But I still, leaning more that way, get something out of your book every time I read it, because it reminds you of those things, because it's easy. And then I'm going to be quiet. It's so easy, even for very positive minded, can do people, to hit a little stumbling block or hit a little roadblock or screw it, this will never work. Right? Because you get mad, you get frustrated, you get 2 or 3 extra roadblocks. But the reality is, every roadblock is just something to climb over, walk through, build a hole, drill a hole, saw a hole, find a way. Right? I mean, so I guess with that, Life on Your Terms, I love, the first title I have on here, the subtitle is Develop a Champion Mindset. And I think you kind of hit on that earlier, but I'd love to have you talk about that quick, because I love that concept. But give us a few minutes of Rex in the book, and then we'll jump on to what you're doing, if you don't mind.
Well, first off, I think you're reading it fine. I mean, I always encourage people to make it a study. I've got audio programs and video programs and trainings that are online, and people have listened to them for years, and they go, every time I listen to it, I hear something I missed before. Again, go, you've had that program for 10 years. They go, I know, But what that tells you, informs us as people, is that you read something, and if you come back to it, this is the same way to make the easiest way to change is to have correct repetition, which is spaced. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those are different spaces. So you do something on Monday, the same thing on Tuesday, you do correct repetition consistently, repeatedly, for long enough, and it becomes a habit. So if you read the book and then you read it again, or you read it, again, and then you read it again, between the times you read it, you're changing. You're assimilating what you've read. You're having a life experience. You're either applying it or you're not, but you come back to it again. And so you notice things that you weren't ready to notice the first time. And that is our own kind of becoming aware process. And that can happen with any book you read. Now, I wrote this book with certain conventions. I wanted to be like my voice whispering to people. There's certain ways the book is structured and laid out to utilize whole brain and accelerated learning approaches so that it becomes easy to understand. There's quotes and things are broken up and things are bolded in certain ways so they stand out so that they're memorable. Like a bumper sticker can be really memorable, but a paragraph may not be. So I try and do those things where I have a paragraph and reduce it to and then there's what's called peripheral learning. Not everything is placed in the same, you and I are talking about one thing, but over here there's a poster that doesn't seem to apply to anything, but somehow that's going into your brain and it's all coming together. So the book is designed for you to easily incorporate and to use and to digest and to understand so that you can apply it. Because if you don't apply it, it's like anything else. In Hollywood, for example, I used to teach acting, and people say, is the actor more important or the screenplay? And I would take a screenplay and throw it down on the floor and go, act. And it does nothing, right? Now, that's not to say the screenplay isn't important because it informs the actor what to do. It's the structure for the actor to follow, but it does nothing unless it's brought to life. And the same thing with any book you read or any program that you do. If you don't apply it, if you don't bring it to life, it's going to stay locked in the book. And if the book is in a shelf or in a drawer, it's going to remain in the drawer. It's not going to be something you use. But if you want to use it, you absolutely can. And I give you steps and easy to do steps, or give the reader easy to do steps that they can do to apply it so that they can have a champion mindset and they can have unstoppable energy and they can do all the things that I, put right there on it. Because it's about living life on your terms, not on the other people's terms, but on your terms. That doesn't mean you fight with other people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like, I'm going to do it my way. It's that you create the life that you want, that you desire, that's the most happy, wonderful life for you. And hopefully you're helping other people to do the same thing for themselves.
Love it. Well said. Well said. Well, I will say, let's move on because I do want to talk about some things you got coming up, but I will recommend here, and many, many times I've done in the past, anybody and everybody I talk to, I tell them to read this book. It is really, really that good. So what have you got coming up? Because I know you've got so many things that I was just amazed you found 30, 40 minutes to talk to us today, let alone 5. I mean, you're killing it out there, my man.
Well, like they say, thank you. Sometimes it rains and it pours, it's really great. What you just saw there is a new, I revamped my Create Your Best Life with Rex TV show. It's now at rexsikes.tv. I have a co-host, Danny Walsh. Danny is a marketing maverick. I mean, he is a maven when it comes to that. And so he's co-hosting and helping me do that. He does this stuff. He knows all about funnels and marketing and sales. I mean, he's an amazing guy in his own right. And he's part of the True Comma Club. He made $3 million selling fishing tackle when he started his business. So, I mean, wow. He knows what he's doing. And I'm very blessed to be partnering up with him to do so many different things. I have Tim Shea, who's been helping me for a number of years too. I mean, I'm blessed with the amount of people around me. I'm connected with the Los Angeles Tribune. You saw there a little bit on May 1st through the 7th, 2024. So whenever you're watching, is Leadership Week, the Los Angeles Tribune Leadership Week. And we've got incredible speakers. I won't be able to name all of them, but we've got Russell Brunson, who talking about funnels. We've got Ty Lopez, one of the big internet marketers all around. We've got Sharon Lecter, Brian Tracy, Mark Victor Hansen. Joe Vitale and I are doing a live event. It's a live event in Temecula, California, I think the 18th and 19th of May. So we're going to be together. Sharon Lecter's on there. Robert Cialdini, who wrote the book Influence, is there. So you're going to want to attend. The link is right there on the graphic. So if people go to wherever they see it, there's Russell. But if they go to laleadershipweek.com and register, there's so many different giveaways and gifts and a networking thing that's coming up and stuff. So they're going to want to attend that. And right after that, the 8th through the 10th is the Think and Grow Rich 3-day challenge that Russell Brunson is doing. Russell got Russell, purchased Think and Grow Rich and some or Laws of Success. He, for like $1.5 million and started this whole thing and is creating this library of lost books And the Napoleon Hill Foundation, Don Green, a beautiful, wonderful man, Don Green,
Mhm.
good friend, lovely man, you know him,
Yep.
has just now they've unearthed some lost videos of Napoleon Hill. So during the 3-day challenge, absolutely free. I have a link on my wall. I should have put it somewhere for you. I don't have it here, but anyway, they can go and they can register. And during the 3 days, they get to watch imbibe these lost videos of Napoleon Hill. So it's like having Napoleon Hill teach you live. Now there are other videos of Hill around, that exist, but these apparently have never been seen by the public before. So I'm eager to see them too. So that's that. And Danny and I are doing something from the 11th on. And my show is every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. in the UK. So that's when Danny is. So there's that. So there's just tons of stuff. And that's every single Wednesday at the same time, same place at Rex Sikes TV. And then that streams to other places as well. And then I do, a lot of these different things like connecting with you, which is one of my joys in life. I really love it. We're friends on and off social media, that kind of thing. So it's great. But it just, and I know I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but we just celebrated the World Book Day. And I'm so glad, I'm part of the Los Angeles Tribune. I've hosted a TV show there. I've been partnered with them for a long time. I'm helping produce and co-host the Leadership Summit. We've done numerous summits through the years. But they put my book out, Life on Your Terms, for Global Book Day, which is very cool. Yesterday, we had a very special show, Mo Rock show on the Tribune with Mark and Crystal Hansen. We have nominated them for the Lifetime Presidential Award. And so they're that plus servant leadership. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just going on, but you can catch that at the LA Tribune group on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. And Mark and Crystal are putting it out there, and, we're all sharing all sorts of different things. So it's just been a wonderful time that way. I know I'm forgetting tons of stuff, and if you're in Temecula, California, or you see the adverts for Joe Vitale, 18th and 19th of May. I'm going to be there. Dora Cordova will be there. Mo Rock will be there, and other people. So, and that's a live event that people can come to and hang out with us. So awesome.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, like I said, you're keeping busy, brother.
Oh, and plus I'm doing my own programs. I have the ones that they can get through my website, and then also we're doing live programs. And Ben Gay, Ben and I are doing a coaching program, and we're helping people through the sales process. And we're taking Ben's experience and expertise for all the years that he's been. He's Napoleon Hill's last mentee. Right. So this is cool. So we take his experience, we take my experience, which combined is over 100 years, and we're putting it together in a live coaching program. And we have some videos and different things and discussions that we've done and other stuff. But we're going to launch that, and Ben will be a guest on my show in June. And so I'm very excited about that. I knew I was forgetting at least that. And then Danny and I are doing some programs and different things. And, you mentioned my book, so rexsikes.com/book. If anybody from your show buys the book and they go to that website, they get it from Amazon, but they go back to that website, there's details of how they can get from me as a gift, as a bonus, a $497 training on mastery, how we master our mindset, our skills, our feelings, our speech, our behaviors in an accelerated way, using accelerated learning principles, how that process works so you can better understand it. And for those people who go and get the hard copy or the softback, they take their receipt code and they do what the thing says, and they'll have the training even before they receive the book in the mail. And that's my gift to them, because I want to support people who have the book. If you haven't done it, go get it. Because
exactly.
If you can't find your receipt codes, then or whatever, I think you bought the book, but we'll figure out a way, and make sure that you get it, because I know you have the book.
Yes. Oh, that sounds great. I mean, I'd buy the book again just to get that. That's
well, as I tell people, I go buy a case, go buy a couple.
Exactly.
One guy, Paul McFarland, who runs my clubhouse room, he's a beautiful man. He's a branding specialist. He buys cases and gives the book. I'm not telling you to, I'm just saying, but I recommend to people, because there's libraries, there's old folks' homes, there's high schools, there's colleges, there's anywhere and everywhere that books are. get one, give more, give them away, and help people help themselves by finding out who and what they can do, who they are and what they can do.
As we finish up, you're talking about all of what you're doing there. So exciting, but that really looking forward to the one you're doing with our mutual great friend, Ben Gay. If Wes and I spent the time with he and Gigi out in California.
It's so cool. Those pictures were great.
Yes, great time, and one of these days, somewhere, somehow, there we are. Look at that.
Beautiful. Yeah. I gotta tell you something. Just the world is so small. Ben and I are talking one day, and he said something, and I said Hyperion. He goes, Hyperion? How do you know Hyperion? I said, well, I lived a block away. He said, well, Gigi worked at the Mayfair. I said, Mayfair? I used to go. Gigi and I met, we knew each other. Like 40, 50 years ago, didn't know that we knew each other, didn't know that Ben and she had met, that kind of thing. I mean, we weren't friends. We just knew each other from the supermarket, and I said, well, do you remember Linda? She goes, oh, yeah, Linda this and Linda that. I mean, it was so amazing to discover the connection with Ben's wife. I knew her before he did.
Wow.
But
that's
he, when I've been, not that way, but what I'm saying? It's just like, I was like, so delighted to discover that. So it's a very warm place for Ben and Gigi in my heart, not just as a result of that, but also because of knowing Ben. But it was just one of those extra treats in life.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we were talking about earlier. And I think Wes and I was talking about, on pre-show, but the more you network, the more you get to know people. If you're open to meeting people, every person opens up a massive door of an audience of people that you get to know and bring into your life, and maybe some not so good, but most of the time it's pretty good, because if it's good people, they probably typically know other good people, right? And
like you, I mean, you do a marvelous show. You're helping people, you and Wes, and you're doing so many different things, and you have a reach that extends. Like you reach people I could never reach. I might reach some people that you never reach, but because we coordinate our efforts, we can reach more people together than we could separately. And that's just such a beautiful thing. Today, Danny and I are doing a show with Tom Chenault. And Tom Chenault is one of the top 25 network marketers in the world. I mean, he's up there when it comes to that kind of thing. But Tom developed an app and a business called Contact Mapping. And he recently sold it, but he consults and everything else. But his thing, and so even this show, Danny's show is today or Tom's show with Danny and me is today. People can see the replay of it whenever this airs. But the thing is he teaches people how to have relationships and connect up. And his thing is how to teach people to be people, to relate to people as people, not as prospects, not as a customer, but as a person. So it's truly all about the relationships and the way we connect with people that is truly important. And you are one of those people who truly get that, you and Wes. I mean, that's the cool thing about and one of the many, many reasons why I appreciate and love you so much.
Yeah, well, we appreciate and love you back, brother. So, and one of these days we got to figure out how that's going to be and where that's going to be. But you and I need to break bread together in person somewhere.
Absolutely. And or continue to do things like this online or in live events too. I'm down with anything, but I can't wait until that moment where we get to break some bread. Yeah, you got it.
It'd be great. I still remember, and then we'll get out of here. But speaking of Ben, I remember when we met, and I got to the hotel a little early. I got in, and I was on a mission, because as being the last living protege of Dr. Hill and everything, I looked at meeting, and Ben and Wes and I, we've become really good friends over time, right? But the first time meeting him, and I told somebody, that's kind of like if you're in the sales world that I am, that would be like in the baseball world and you're going to meet Mickey Mantle, right? And the same thing would follow in seriously with you, Rex, not blowing smoke. But so I'm sitting at the hotel bar waiting for he and Gigi to get the car over. Wes, I think, was just getting in, and Carson. And when he walked in the door, it was like, and I walked over and I had that, I'm kind of a hugger. I'm a bro hugger, but I'm thinking, okay, we're pretty good friends, but maybe I should just shake hands because this is Ben Gay, right? And it's like I could tell as the hand starts going up, it's like get rid of that thing, And to get that first bro hug from Ben, it was like, okay, this is this is about as cool as it gets, right? And it's good stuff.
No, Ben is marvelous. You're marvelous, and she, and Wes and she. I mean, it's like the universe brings us together in many ways.
Yes.
I'm going to make a confession. Joe Vitale and I have known each other over 30 years. I've been a student of Joe's. Joe's been a student of mine. He's done my home study programs, everything else. I wrote articles for him, and he's done stuff for me, and helped me pick a tagline for one of my business. I mean, we've known each other all these years. We've never met in person.
Wow.
So in May, we're meeting for the first time in person. When the event came up, I said, "Oh, this is great. I've known Joe over 30 years. I've never met him." The event, Mo Rock, who's putting this on, said, I talked to Joe. He said the exact same thing about you. He said, yeah, I've known Rex for over 30 years, but we've never met in person.
Wow.
So, I mean, the beauty of the internet, while there are some downsides to it, is the fact that people can connect and get to know each other either through lives or Zooms or just social media and bond in ways that they might never would have before the advent of this. And
Absolutely.
COVID, I think, was a total blessing in the sense that not because of the devastation that was done, but because we learned to use a medium of staying connected in ways that we hadn't used before, and so that kept the world sane during a kind of crazy time, but it's truly beautiful.
Yep, exactly. Well said. Well, my brother, I know you got other stuff to do, and you've been so kind with your time. Again, any parting words? Otherwise, I'm going to let you get on to doing something else.
Pay attention to this guy. He's rocking it. I love being on his show. He does so many great things. Each of his guests are always guests who deliver value. So stay tuned to Randy, Road Warrior Randy, and Building Wins show, because it's not just the building that wins, it's the people that are in it and around it. So you'll be one to win it too. So thank you, Randy, for having me. I'm blessed. And everybody come see me, get my book, and let's hang. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you and Wes are doing.
You got it. Well, same here. Thank you, brother. Cheers. Love you, man.
Love you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. There it was. Rex Sikes again. As I expected, it would be even better than the first show, which it was. And if you haven't been able to figure out by now, I know a lot of people in my life and got to know a lot of people, and Rex is top of game. And I can tell you that. Recommend anything he writes, anything he does. You're going to love the man. So follow him everywhere. Buy his book if you don't. Buy 10 if you can, and hand out, as he said. But great man and a great friend, and just blessed to have him on in my life. So that's it for today. I'm going to get out of here. And remember, 3 things. I'm doing it right now, right? Loving what I do and doing what I love. You get one go around, so live it, love it, own it. And go make today your best day ever. Until tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.